Hello and welcome to KLM Institute.
Today, we're diving into one of the most haunting and tragic events in aviation history, the Tenerife airport disaster. Picture this. Two massive Boeing 747s, one from KLM, the other from Pan Am, on the same fog-covered runway, unknowingly heading straight toward each other. It was March 27, 1977. And what should have been a routine detour for both flights ended in the deadliest aviation disaster of all time. The story starts in the Canary Islands, on the small island of Tenerife, where a bombing in Las Palmas forced several planes, including the two 747s, to divert to the nearby Los Rodeos airport. KLM's flight, captained by Jacob Van Zanten, and Pan Am's flight, known as Clipper Victor, were among the planes that landed there. The airport was normally quiet, but that day, it was packed with aircraft and chaos. Now, with the planes all lined up for takeoff, the runway was congested, and in the dense fog, the pilots couldn't see each other. KLM, eager to get back in the air, started to taxi down the runway. Pan Am, with no room to turn off, was forced to continue down the same runway. Then, in a series of misunderstandings, miscommunications, and a few moments of sheer bad luck, the KLM captain, Van Zanten, began his takeoff roll, without clearance. The Pan Am crew, led by Captain Victor Grubbs, realized something was terribly wrong. They could hear the engines of the KLM 747 starting to roar, but with fog so thick, they couldn't see the other plane. Seconds ticked by, and the tension grew. In the cockpit of Pan Am, the first officer, Bob Bragg, knew their only chance was to move quickly. The KLM 747, already accelerating at full speed, was racing toward them, and the crew of Pan Am barely had time to react. Tragically, just as Pan Am made an attempt to turn, the two jets collided, KLM's plane crashing into the Pan Am aircraft. The explosion that followed was devastating. While 583 people lost their lives that day, miraculously, 61 of those on the Pan Am flight survived, including Bob Bragg. He and the crew members from the Pan Am cockpit somehow escaped the wreckage, jumping from the wreckage to safety, with Bragg only suffering a minor ankle injury. What makes this story even more haunting is how it all unfolded. In a cruel twist of fate, Van Zanten, who had been one of KLM's top pilots and a well-known figure, didn't fully comprehend the danger. His crew didn't realize that they hadn't received takeoff clearance. And when the voices of the tower and the Pan Am crew overlapped in the fog, it sealed the fate of that fateful day. We're sharing this story today because, years later, it's not just the tragedy that's remembered, it's the lessons learned. It's a reminder of how human error, miscommunication, and even something as simple as the fog, can lead to catastrophic events. But it's also a testament to the bravery of the survivors who faced one of the worst disasters in history and lived to tell the tale. Bob Bragg, one of the survivors, went on to continue flying after the accident, eventually retiring as a captain with United Airlines. He became a symbol of resilience, speaking about the crash not with anger, but with a calm reflection on what happened and the lessons that can be taken from such a painful moment in history. This story is not just about the crash, it's about how our understanding of aviation safety has evolved, and how it continues to shape the industry today. It's about the people behind the tragedies, the survivors, and how they carry the weight of such events for the rest of their lives. So, as we reflect on Tenerife, let's take a moment to think about the incredible people who work tirelessly to make sure something like this never happens again. We've come a long way in aviation safety, and the heroes like Bob Bragg, who survived against all odds, are a huge part of that journey. Remember to subscribe to KLM Institute for more fascinating stories from the world of aviation. Stay safe, and see you in the next video.